Hey everybody, welcome to another episode. I'm Matt.
I'm Mandy.
And this is another episode. Thank you guys so much for joining us again as we dip back into the movies that shaped our childhood. And today, Mandy, what are we talking about?
Today we are talking about the Guttenberg classic.
The Goots.
The Goots. 1984 Police Academy.
1984. I cannot believe this is from 1984. This blows my mind.
Yeah, and the Goots was hot back then. Man.
Right? I haven't seen it in a while.
When I was a kid, I did not think that he was good looking, but when I was watching this, I was like, look at that butt in that police uniform.
Sure. And of course, we want to make sure everyone listening in or watching now, we're watching on YouTube finally, we're up and running. If you have not found a reason to watch Police Academy, please stop what you're doing right now. Go find it. It's currently streaming on Netflix.
Yeah, it is.
I think a bunch of them are on there.
Yeah, almost all of them.
Yeah, I mean, there's like 7 of them, so they probably don't have like the really shitty ones on there.
Right. So go find that, watch it, and then come back and join us for this conversation. And you're back.
I wasn't even going to try to do it this time. I'm sorry if I seem distracted. There's a cat door in my basement, and my dog keeps sticking his nose through it. That's all that fits.
Nice.
And so I kept looking. It's like literally. I kind of want to show you guys what it looks like. Sorry for the listeners.
We're going on a field trip here. Oh, nice. There you go.
There's my dog's nose only.
Nice.
So yeah, my bad. Cute. Sorry.
All right. And of course, Mandy, we don't like to talk about these movies by ourselves or with the dog. So we have to bring on a guest every week. We bring on a new guest, generally a comedian, generally someone fun, so we can lighten things up a bit because Mandy and I tend to grapple over some of these films.
Yeah, usually.
And I am very excited, to finally get on. We've had you scheduled a couple of times to try to get out here, but we finally figured some way out to make it happen. So it's the only blessing from the COVID shenanigans. We're doing stuff remotely now. So we have in studio, Sam, where are you out of?
Metro Detroit.
All right. We have Detroit area comedian, Sam Rager is with us.
Thank you. I'm so happy to finally be on.
Yeah.
We're happy to have you.
Yes, like I said, we've been trying to get you on because you're I want to see what you think about these old weird movies that we make people watch. We don't let you pick, we pick for you.
Although we did give her 2 Guttenberg movies to choose from, basically.
Right.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It was like either way, we were going to have his sweet ass on this show.
That's right. Gotta get the Goots. It's been too long. I can't believe we made it this far without any Guttenberg.
Well, no, we did Short Circuit.
Yeah, of course we did.
So
God, it's been so long. That's the only
one, though. Yeah.
So Sam, we always ask everybody who we have on, how long had it been since you watched this film before we made you watch it for the podcast?
I think 11 years.
Okay. All right.
That's pretty specific.
Yeah. Very good.
What about you, Matt? When was the last time you watched it?
Oh my goodness. It's been a while. It'd been, I can't imagine I think I've seen number 2 since I saw number 1. And it's been years and years since I've seen that one. So I'm going to say it's been probably 20 years or more since I've seen this movie. Yeah.
Well, I actually don't think that I've ever seen it.
Okay.
Before this. I mean, I remember like specific parts. Like I remember the guy that makes the noises.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I think that that was
Larvell Jones.
2. Yeah, Larvell Jones.
Monsignor, MD.
MD. Doctor.
Love it.
Yeah, Michael Winslow is his name.
Who's also a stand-up comedian. In his own right.
Spaceballs. He was in Spaceballs.
Sure.
And actually, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I just learned that he did a track on Run the Jewels' album.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Awesome.
We're still getting some work out there then.
Yeah.
They gave him the they didn't even have him in the script, his character. The casting directors went to see sorry, I have it in my notes. And I'm doing it with notes in front of like the camera, which is weird. So they went to go see Count Basie, and he opened for him. So I don't know if he opened for him by like making noises, but they're
Yeah, I heard they went to see that he was performing comedy. Like they saw his comedy set, and in his comedy he was making those crazy noises, and they're like, we have to have him in this movie.
So that whole like character wouldn't have even been in there, which is crazy because he's the first thing you think about, I think, when you think of these.
Absolutely. Yeah. Can you even imagine this movie without that character and how slow this movie would have run? Like without those little comedy beats in there, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
He was my favorite when I was a kid.
Yeah, for sure. Has that changed after the rewatch? Do you have a different favorite character?
I relate more to I think her name was Brooks.
Yeah.
Books,
Hooks, right?
Hooks.
Oh, Hooks. Yeah.
Hooks.
That's the one.
With the timid voice. And did you know that she's actually wearing a fat suit this whole time?
No.
And she's supposed to be losing weight like during her boot camp or whatever, her police academy. And so they did like a filming of her having lost the weight with just showing her real self, but they cut it out. So then she had to wear a fat suit for every police academy movie that she was in because she couldn't be in.
Weird.
Yeah.
Just since we mentioned her, let's get a little taste of Hooks. This is Hooks and Tackleberry we get here in this clip.
Yes, Tackleberry.
Here is the house. Here is the window. And I...
And Harris also is the one talking now.
I am coming out of the window with a stolen stereo in my hand. Out of the window, over the hedge, and you are the arresting officer. What do you say, Hooks?
No, this is a stick-up.
I feel like she's the heart of the movie too, you know?
Very sweet. Yeah. Well, you needed her to be, because when she gets insulted.
Yep.
All right. Here is the house. Here's the window. I'm the burglar. I'm coming out of the house, over the hedge. I've got the stolen stereo in my hand.
Stop that stereo before I blow your goddamn nuts off, asshole!
That's it.
Yeah, I thought he was hilarious when I grew up as well. Like when the gun scene where they have the gun training, I loved that. But now I'm like, ooh, that didn't age well.
Right, a little intense. Yeah, a little too much for that.
I guess now, like in police academies or just in any kind of security detail, like anyone that's super overzealous, they call them Tackleberry.
Nice. Just to get us all in the mood here, I do want to start it out. I should have started out with this clip, but here we go. Doesn't it bring you right into the film?
Definitely.
This is a huge like opening score soundtrack for any movie. Like this one brings me right into the film.
Really? It brought me right into Stripes.
Oh yeah. Love it. It's great.
I was like, shit, did I click on the wrong movie?
It just added the credit soundtrack or the credit song to my workout playlist after watching this.
Nice. Yeah, these movies find their way into like everyday life after you start watching these garbage old movies like this. Yeah. You start catching references to things that you didn't even know about until you start peeling these back and looking further into these damn movies. It's
like, I didn't even know the premise. The fact that there was a lady mayor that that decided that anybody could join the police academy. Like, this is the best freaking plot of like anything ever. It was so brilliant.
Right, yeah. And you don't think about that when we were kids watching. It's just like, oh, this is the police academy. It's not like like this isn't normal. Like, it's not a bunch of weirdos and delinquents and you know, social outcasts that joined the police academy. This was done on purpose as an initiative by the town's mayor to get more people involved. Yeah. And so that's why they had to like make them leave. They wanted to like push them out to get them to go away. So Mandy, did you have a standout character, anybody favorite that you were looking for?
Mine would probably be Barbara, or however you say his last name.
Leslie Barbara, yeah.
Yeah, Leslie Barbara. I freaking loved it when he kicked the shit out of those guys for moving their own furniture.
Yes,
and then he walks out and he's like, yeah. Because that was super shitty when they threw him off the bridge.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, he could have died. And
Like, what if it had flipped over on the door? He would have been like totally screwed.
Right. Yeah. I wonder how many takes it took them to get that to flip right to where it would land on the base like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I did read that it almost tipped over, and you can see it. They
Oh,
kept
for
that
sure,
in the
yeah.
film.
That made me real nervous. I was like, oh no, he's going to...
It made him real nervous too because that wasn't supposed to happen, and so
sure.
yeah, that's Donovan Scott is his name.
Okay.
So, and I did read too that the inspiration for Hooks' voice, she was trying to sound like Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Oh,
that makes sense. Yeah.
I want to be a police officer. That's a horrible Michael Jackson impression, but whatever.
Well, we try. Here's a little piece of Barbara as he's floating down the river here.
You're gonna pay for this. Mark my words. And you wanna know why?
Crossing the bridge. And
It's no secret. Everybody knows. I'm joining the police force. What do you think of that? Now who's in charge?
all right, crazy. Yeah.
So I really loved him. What about you, Matt? What was your favorite character?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Goots is great all the time. He's he's just everybody wants to be Steve Guttenberg, I guess. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy Hightower. I thought Hightower was a great addition to this movie. It was fun because he was this great big hulking guy, but he still needed like the help to learn how to drive a car, and he had more character to him than just like big guy, break stuff.
Oh yeah,
which I thought
absolutely
was great.
Yeah, Bubba Smith.
Mm-hmm.
He died. He died in 2011. Rips to Bubba.
Rips to Bubba.
yeah, he was so young too.
Yeah.
I gotta find Bubba. Sorry.
Was he a football player? Is that what he was like famous for before getting into movies?
He played for the Baltimore Colts and then 2 other teams.
Okay, nice. Look at that. Yeah.
See, I didn't even know that. I'm supposed to do the research, so we're good.
I knew we brought you on board for this for a reason.
Right. She's a ringer. Get rid of her.
Did either of you ever have any inclination to join the police force as a kid or anything else?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Because of this movie, my dad showed me it when I was like a kid, and I was like, I want to do this.
Nice.
That's awesome. I took law enforcement classes because I was a criminal justice major.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I have a bachelor's in criminal justice too.
There you go. So you probably had a lot of cops in your class, or like soon to be cops.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it made me kind of want to do it, but then I saw who they were, and I was like, I don't want to be like them.
Don't want to be associated with, huh?
Spot on.
Yeah.
That is, Mandy hits the nail on the head. With that, they had us for. I took some prereqs at the community college near my school, and they had a police academy there. And for extra credit, we had to volunteer for the police academy and like to be criminals in the police academy, and they're like, they gave me fake weapons. They're like, you're gonna want to drop this as soon as they come in because they're not gonna ask any questions.
Oh my gosh, I seriously feel like I would have PTSD after this. Like
you had to cosplay as a criminal. Like that's rough, man.
Yeah, they like tackle.
Just imagine you like Sam. Just standing there with a gun, like now what? Love it.
It reminds me of Men in Black when he's.
I'm sure you would have been a great criminal. I'm not taking anything away from you. I just can't see your criminal enterprises going any further than the police academy.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what kind of criminal she would be, like mob boss, like a madam, like you'd be like a pimp, like what, like a female pimp. What are they?
International espionage. That's what it is.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. Are any of you steeped in the Gutenberg catalog? Do any of you know any other like?
Ooh, It Takes Two.
Yes, I love that movie.
Dude, I watched the shit out of It Takes Two. I have no reason to have watched it. It's not for me, but I watched it a lot. I did.
It's right up there with Now and Then.
For sure. I have no reason to watch that either. But I toyed with suggesting that as this week's episode was It Takes Two, but I figured it's just going to be so far off of anyone's radar that it's just not going to be worth doing. But that is on Netflix though right now. So.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved the romance between he and Kirstie Alley.
Yes, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Both
Yeah.
huge at the time that this was happening. Like
Mhm.
that was a heavy hitter full movie there with the Olsen twins, the Goots, and then
Yeah,
Alan
for
bringing it
sure.
up too.
And kudos to the chick that plays his fiance, because she is so completely like horrid and crazy.
Yes,
She was amazing.
awful. So with this movie, I guess we should talk a little bit about the premise of this film. Steve Guttenberg is I guess just a general bad person. Like he's nobody. He keeps going through jail. I'm guessing they've seen him several times, and they keep sending him back out into society, and he ends up back in jail. So this time around, they've decided he can do something different to get out of this cycle. He can join the police academy and get all the way through what was it, 14 weeks?
Yeah.
Training.
I mean, unless you're asking Lesser, whatever his name is, Lieutenant. Yeah, the
Harris?
guy that. No, not Harris, because he knew.
Lassard.
Lassard, yes, and which, by the way, is an anagram for lardass.
Nice.
And I have to say, Lassard, it was so hard for me to watch Punky Brewster's uncle get head under a podium.
Okay.
Punky. A little shout out to Kyle Burnham there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I thought he was great too. Honestly,
Yeah.
Amazing.
he is everything I assume that like the dean of a college or anything would be. Just completely oblivious to what actually goes on, and just sort of walks around and points at things too.
He seemed so much older when I was a kid. I was like, he has to be like in his 80s. And then now I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, he is.
It's my dad.
Rips to him too, though. Yeah,
Aww,
he is no longer with us.
Sad panda. Bummer.
Yeah.
It was fun because at one point in the film they have a scene where he's like directing a tour. That's the scene that you referred to when he gets blown under a podium, you know? Because all of these 80s movies have to have at least, you know, one or two scenes of just pure unadulterated like debaucherous sex scenes. So he's like giving this tour, but he's showing a slideshow, and then he shows like 4 slides, and then he's like, all right, it's time for lunch. Like, I'm wondering what that slideshow was supposed to be. Like if there was any actual information, or if it was literally just, here's the front of our building and here's another picture of the front of our building, and now let's go have a cigarette. Like that's what we got.
They finally have diverse photos of their police academy to show.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing too, is like they say there's a lot of spades. You know, do you have that clip?
What's that?
Where he says there's a lot of spades here?
No, I don't have that, but I do have this one that delves more into the gender issues here.
Just look at that. Look at that scum. When I went through this academy, every cadet was the right weight, the right height, the right color, and they all had Johnsons.
Johnsons everywhere.
Every single one of them.
Johnsons as far as the eye could see.
Oh, yes.
Back in the old days, there were Johnsons as far as the eye could see.
And what a lovely sight it was.
Have you seen these
Okay.
applications? Have you seen what our new lady mayor has brought us? Do you know that she is attempting to dismantle one of this country's great institutions of law and order? What do you say to that, Lassard?
The bitch.
I love it. He's like, I don't know, bitch. She's such a bitch. I feel like it's what's happening right now.
Thank you. Yes, exactly.
Governor Whitmer, you know,
trying
to keep us all safe, but people got to have them seeds, y'all.
Oh my gosh. Well, there's like 4 inches of snow on the ground.
Right. Yeah. Got to get out on the motorboat and do your thing, you know.
Right.
Jesus Christ. Everybody sucks. Everyone's the worst.
I do have to say, like, this whole thing is like it's been hard for me to swallow for sure.
Yeah, it's been rough, but here we are, you know, sheltering in place. We're making it work.
Well, I didn't mean that. I meant like the protesters and stuff. But whatever. We don't make this a political post.
For sure.
But
yeah.
The thing is I'm sure that people listening all feel the same way.
Yeah.
Even if you're not from Michigan, please, if you're not from Michigan, I want to tell you that is a very small majority, like a small percentage of the people that live here. Although that is like now what people will associate.
Yeah, we're sorry for the rest of everyone.
Yeah. Apologies. So.
All right, let's get a little taste of old Lavelle Jones, MD himself here. This is when they first meet at the police station.
What are you in for? I'll show you.
I don't believe anyone could make that sound with their face.
Oh, no, sir. No, not you. That's terrific. Really. What's your name?
Jones. Marvell Jones. Monsignor Marvell Jones. MD. Let's go, Mahoney.
See you around, Monsignor.
Dr. Monsignor.
Oh my gosh, that is so amazing.
This was always my favorite part. I love it. It's even better when you can't see him. It just sounds like a harmonica. It's the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm
amazing.
impressed with every noise that he can make.
For sure. And that has made that man's career. It's unbelievable. Like he is where he is right now because he can make dumb noises with his face. It's great. It's awesome. It's the greatest of all time.
I just feel like after this quarantine, more people are going to be able to do that because there's just not enough time. Like there's just so much time right now and not enough to do. So
yeah,
like,
I
I'm
wonder
going
if
to try
people are coming up with like talents they never knew they had just because they didn't take 20 minutes to breathe. And now
Right?
that's everybody's doing that, you know? It's great.
Yeah, for sure.
So we forced this movie upon you, Sam. If we had given you the reins, if we had said to you, please pick a movie that shaped your childhood that you had to make us watch, do you know what that would be? Like imagine coming home from school and in the VCR already from the last time you watched it yesterday, what is still in the VCR that you just press play on and watch it constantly?
I think I was like I'm torn between The Breakfast Club and Bridget Jones's Diary.
Oh yeah.
I watched both of those all the time. And while you were sleeping. Ooh, I watched While You Were Sleeping a lot too.
Ah, look at that.
A little Sandra Bullock action.
Yeah.
Those are a little heavy for like a kid coming home and just picking a movie to watch, you know?
My dad like held me down and made me watch Candyman when I was 3. I remember like watching Porky's when I was 8. It was
Which that scene actually when they're all in the room like talking about Johnson's reminded me of the Tallywhacker scene.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, and then we get the scene too with Harris and Mahoney out overlooking this conveniently placed open window into the women's shower scene.
Yeah.
Which of course every 80s movie
unneeded. Yeah.
The women's locker room is in the basement of a building with giant windows looking down in.
I do love though that Steve Guttenberg like hands the beer and walks away, and then Harris gets caught.
He's
That's so great. Yes.
The unintentional bait and switch. It's great. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yes, more fun facts. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So Guttenberg, he actually like won out his part over a lot of people that Bruce Willis, Michael Keaton, Tom Hanks, Bill Murray, Jerry Seinfeld.
Woof.
He would have been so horrible. Robin Williams. What's up with these? Police Academy. What's with that? That was I don't know what that was, but anyway.
Nobody does. It's fine.
Robin Williams, John Travolta, and Rick Moranis. Oh, and Judge Reinhold.
Okay. I could see Judge Reinhold doing that. That'd be all right.
Yeah, definitely. So, but back then, it was around the same time as Stripes, kind of. So he would have been, I don't know, I just picture him as like the long-haired stoner guy.
Okay,
yeah. But yes, so he beat out all those people for that part, which just kind of shows like how good he was. But to his audition, he wore a New York police officer shirt that belonged to his father because his dad was a New York police officer.
Okay.
I know.
So that pushed him over the top then? That's what they...
Yes.
Like, it's got to be this guy? It's got to be the Goots?
Definitely.
Nice.
And he was able to keep his one in the oven shirt that he shows up to the police academy. He got to take that with him. So that's pretty funny.
I love it.
Yeah, I love that shirt.
It's so great.
Yeah, I did like it was fun to watch with the wardrobe changes and things, like the costumes they wore. I liked George Martin. George Martin. As he dressed up as a woman and went over to the ladies' barracks. I thought that was fun too.
Yeah, that was a thin robe. You could definitely see the cotton.
I did not think you were going to say cotton.
I feel like he was wearing women's underwear under that robe too. Like I feel like you could see the outline of him wearing women's underwear. It was a little too much.
He was Spanish. They just do that kind of weird stuff, don't they?
No, he was just regular old George Martin. You know.
I know, but he was trying to be Spanish.
Sure. And then we have old Cadet Thompson What's her name? I
Kim
forget what her
Cattrall?
name is. Yeah, Kim Cattrall.
Yeah, Kim
the
Cattrall.
other star of the movie, and I forgot her completely.
Which is funny. She's in Mannequin, which so is G.W. Bailey, who plays Harris. Like they're both in Mannequin together.
I thought,
and they're both pretty much, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Look at that. Yeah, I feel like I've never seen Harris in any movie that he wasn't playing that part.
No.
Like that's just who he is. He's always somebody trying to tell people what to do. Is what's happening.
Yeah, I always get him confused with the guy that's the drill sergeant in the guy that's always the drill sergeant. I can't think of the movies right off the top of my head, but you know who I'm talking about.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
So Kim Cattrall, how do you think she did in this film?
I liked her a lot. It's weird to hear how like soft spoken she is in this movie, and then because I guess I like saw Police Academy around the same time. Like I stumbled upon an episode of Sex and the City. I wasn't like a big Sex and the City person, but her personality is very different, I think.
For sure, yeah.
Oh yeah, she's a big old slut. Oh, and she's in in Porky's, and she's a big old slut in Porky's too. So
well, she's not a big old slut in Porky's. It's just only during certain circumstances.
Only when she smells Jacks, like dirty used Jacks.
Yeah.
Johnson's as far as the
and in this movie, it's only when she dresses in men's clothing she gets pretty twisted up.
I mean, I don't really think that her like the writing for her character was all that like deep. Like I think she did a good job of seeming like a badass, like with the shooting and stuff.
For sure, yeah.
I
just think that it was like each character was coming at this as like a fish out of water type situation.
Yeah.
Like what parts of society can we mish all together into this movie to make it seem fun for everyone to watch? How they kind of handle this and get through it too, which I think was fun. It's a decent premise for a movie of that time period. That
absolutely.
It was supposed to be like a raunchy sort of buck wild nonsense, and I think they toned it down enough to make it an enjoyable movie, at least. Yeah,
I was nervous about watching it again because I loved it so much as a kid, and I had such like fond memories. I was like, oh no, like there's some movies that I thought I enjoyed back then, and then when I rewatched them, I was like, oh, this is not is rough in 2020.
We have that happen to us a lot here.
Yeah, there are a ton that do not hold up. We've gone through. Well, hell, we're on. What are we? This is our 92nd, I think, episode so far, something like that. If you don't count all of the doubles or half episodes or bonus episodes or whatever, I think this is officially number 92.
Which has held up the least out of all the ones that you guys?
Flight of the Navigator for me, for sure.
100%.
It was so horrible. Unacceptably bad. It was one of the worst films that have ever been produced by anybody. So yeah, that's no good. I mean, I've had to sit through some that weren't like my idea. That one, unfortunately, was my idea. Like it was. I was like, I love this movie when I was like 9. It's gonna be the greatest of all time. And then the rewatch, 25 years later, whatever, it was just like, this is no good. So
yeah, that one was super bad. We had Nick Lydorf on for that one.
Sorry, Nick.
So sorry, Nick. We need to have you back for something way better, buddy.
Sure. But yeah, I mean, at least this one wasn't a complete dud. This was a fun watch for me. I
super fun
watching it. Yeah.
And it was progressive. It was like almost. I mean, it was like you said. You can kind of relate to like the time now, because unfortunately we're still there with all of like the non-inclusiveness. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So one of my favorite scenes happens right at the beginning of the movie, which is always a bummer. Like I'm always sad when it's like, oh, it's over and that's it. It's when Mahoney has to park that guy's car at the very beginning. And he tries to tell him there's no spots. And so I'm just going to play a clip of that real quick. So here is that.
Lots full, mister.
Look, don't give me that crap. You've got a space.
This guy was good as being just a random asshole too. It was great.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
which he's another bit character I've seen in other things too. I just can't place him.
Park the car, butt breath.
Wait a minute. Hold everything. That's a wig, isn't it?
Park the car.
Yeah, that's a wig. Wig! Wig!
Dong, dong, dong.
Regular!
He does what everyone wants to do in that situation.
What the hell's going on here?
Hi, Lou.
This rude little punk won't park my car. Mahoney,
Park this car. Spangoli, take a look. If you can find us, do it now, or you're fired. Understand? Fired. It's not fair. The guy has a bad attitude. Do it. Okay,
All right.
I want you to apologize to this man, then park his car.
All right, so he apologizes and parks his car. He turns it up on his side and wedges it between two other vehicles. It's the greatest of all time. It's what everyone wants to do. That's what I would have hoped he had done in that situation, and then he did it. So.
Yeah,
like
the
it.
Customer service dream, right?
Because they're not always right. They're not. There's just, there's no way. Okay, so we are about to get to our first break, but before we do, we have an activity for all of our guests that we do before we hit the first break. And that activity has a theme song, and that theme song was provided by our one and only Bob Fredericks from Kalamazoo.
Thanks, Bob.
We did this several episodes with no theme song, and Bob thought, you know what this needs? It needs this. So here we go.
Chop this synopsis. Chop this synopsis. Chop this synopsis.
All right, it is time for us to play Chop This Synopsis, where we ask you, the guest, Sam, if you could take this film, Police Academy, and chop the synopsis down to 10 words or less. So describe this film to us, 10 words or less. You're going to have the break to figure it out, so you'll have a little time to breathe there, write it down, do what you got to do, but come back to us. Describe the film Police Academy in 10 words or less, something that you'd see on the back of a DVD or on the description on Netflix, just to get someone to click on it and watch this movie, okay? And speaking of theme songs, I do want to throw this out there in case we don't have any more submissions, but we are actively asking anyone who's listening or anyone who's participated in anything with us, if you are musically inclined, we would like theme songs to redo some of our other games that are going to be coming up in the second half. So please, if you're listening and you are inclined at all to do anything musical, just send us over something and we'll see if we're going to use it. We'll give you something in return. It's not going to be anything spectacular, but we want to switch it up. So yeah, do that. But in the meantime, we're going to jump to a break real quick, and we will be right back after these messages.
Jamie, I need you to keep the dogs quiet. I'm recording a commercial for the Elemental podcast, so can you keep them quiet during this recording of my commercial for the Elemental podcast? I mean, I know the dogs bark a whole lot when we actually record the podcast on Mondays and Thursdays and during the Patreon on Saturdays. But during the commercial, we need the recording to be dog bark free. Can you do that for me, Jamie? Can you keep the dogs quiet during the recording of this commercial for the Elemental podcast that people can listen to every Monday and Thursday and the Patreon on Saturday? Can you do that for me, Jamie? Thanks, Jamie. I appreciate it.
Chop this synopsis.
And we're back. All right, it is time.
That is a good theme song.
Yeah, for sure. I feel
it reminds me of DuckTales a little bit.
Nice.
Woo!
We'll let Bob know. And if you're looking for any theme songs for your shows, just contact Bob Fredericks down at Blanket Fort Studios. You know, he'll be able to throw something together for you in the backseat of his car on his lunch break or whatever. But
I'm gonna have that stuck in my head now.
For sure,
everyone does.
Most people think it's Deggy that's doing the song, but no, it's Bobby. All right, and now it is time for the rousing conclusion of Chop the Synopsis. Sam, if you could please regale us with your 10-word or less synopsis of Police Academy.
All right. Ragtag group navigates their way through a police academy. Titties.
Oh my gosh, that was incredible.
You had me at ragtag and you closed the deal at titties. I would click on that for sure. There's no stopping me.
Oh, that was amazing.
See, this is the job. This is the job we all need when we're not out on stage. We can just rewrite synopsis for movies.
Well, the new economy, that might be all the jobs that we have left.
Only thing we can do.
And honestly, everything should just end with a pause and then titties.
Titties, yeah. All right, I did want to ask, I want to start, this is like a new question we ask everyone. Do you have any tips and tricks for surviving quarantine?
Ooh,
if you could just provide one bit of information, something you've learned during this, or something that will help.
I am still learning. My goal for this week is to shower more than once.
Nice. Yeah. I'm going off of I'm on 3 days now for me, and I haven't worn socks. I just thought of this the other day. I haven't put on a pair of socks in probably 2 weeks. Even if I have gone anywhere, I've just put on sandals. I just put on flip-flops and go wherever I need to go. I just don't care anymore.
Yeah, I had to go to work today, and I was like, I seriously cannot find a bra anywhere. Like I don't even know how this is going to work. But I found one, but it was one that didn't fit very well. So the second I came home, I was like, off with the booby prison.
Oh my God. It always feels so good when it's like an uncomfy bra. It is.
I know. It's
I know,
the
right?
worst.
Yeah. I'll just step away for this. You guys can talk about how bad it is. Even in a quarantine situation, you guys still have to deal with bras. It's awful. I'm so sorry.
Not unless we have to leave.
Well, you know. Yeah, I just feel like I've been wearing this same green sweater for several. In fact, I might have been wearing this during the last episode we did.
You were.
Yeah, so
you were.
It's just here. It makes me feel good. I like it.
You're like a hobo.
Yeah, you just need something. You gotta have something to latch to.
The last one I looked so bad. I was like, today I'm wearing like a semi-dressy shirt because I was wearing a hoodie, and I'm pretty sure I wasn't wearing a bra during that episode, and a t-shirt, and like I didn't have it set up very well, so like you could only barely see my face. It was horrible, and I was like, I watched it, even though it was super fun with Pat Sievert, but I was just like, so my daughter's like, Mom, did you put eye makeup on? And it was her eye makeup, and she's 5.
Nice. I was going to try to find a way to hook up a better camera to this setup so it would look better. And then I was like, I don't want this to look better. I don't need this to be better at all. I barely need to be here during this.
It doesn't need to be HD. I don't need you guys to see me that well.
They're just gonna, they're counting. You can tell by how I look how many days it's been at that point. They're counting rings or layers or something. I don't know.
This is the first time I've worn makeup this whole time, but I'm like, I have a reason to like look nice.
We're honored. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
She's like, this is gonna last on the internet, so it's best this way. So.
True story. That's why I was so ashamed of the first one.
So like in this movie, like the clear antagonists use like the racial slurs.
Yeah.
I did a film festival in Lansing where I was supposed to be Dr. Seuss's granddaughter, and it was like based off of like how racist Dr. Seuss used to be.
Okay.
And in the thing, I used racial slurs because I figured like it would be obvious that I was the bad guy, but the audio did not turn out well. So the only part the audience could hear were the racial slurs coming from it.
Oh my God.
They were upset. Like the whole room was pissed until like the credits, and it's like racist Sam Rager, and they're like, oh, like
we should have read the program.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why they make Hooks so likable is because that, you know, why would anyone be so mean to her?
Yeah.
And then to say and then also too, it makes you love Hightower so much more.
Right. Yep.
You know?
Oh my gosh.
And he's now the fallen hero. He gets kicked out, and you're like, oh, this is sad. But then when he comes back, it's such a triumphant victory for everyone. It's like, oh, look at him.
And I love how he's like, I'd shoot this one.
Yeah, the old one. Yeah. We also got the sleepings for fags line from Goots. I was like, oh, that jumped out of nowhere, didn't it? Like, I was not expecting that.
Well, and there's a lot of like anti-gay things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Like when
just the whole gay bar, the Blue Oyster nonsense. Like that was
that's how every gay guy dresses.
Yeah, in the movie, I'm like, oh, they like that's how they view.
But honestly, when I watched this as a child, I'm sure that was what my vision of that came from this movie, like what a gay bar was supposed to look like. And that's a bummer. I get it, but like that's what I assumed it was. It was like the other parts of the Village People, and all they were missing was the cop. And it was like, oh, here we go. we brought the band back together. But And then they beat the drum twice. I was like, we didn't have enough of it the first go around, but now they've got to have it again. So
yeah, that was pretty awesome.
The dog too, like they kept on referring to the dog or like offended by
As
the dog.
a queer, yeah.
yeah.
Although queer was an insult back then, now it's like the preferred nomenclature, so it's hard to say. The two characters we didn't talk about, the two D-bags, Chad Copeland and Kyle Blanks.
Yeah,
those names hold up for that personality.
I know. Chad and Kyle. Yeah, I thought they did a really good job of acting like complete douchebags.
Yeah.
You know.
And it was one of them was definitely like the leader and follower type too, which was great. They had the dynamic between the two of them that you could like, oh, I hate this guy, but I hate this one even more because he seems to be the leader of the assholes, which was fun, you know?
Well, it's funny because they did the head shaving scene like way too early in the filming. So, and then they realized they had to go back and shoot them with hair. So then they put on those horrible ass wigs that you can just tell that they're actual wigs.
Yeah.
And I mean, one of them, it's like, it looks like a really bad Roadhouse, like his Roadhouse hair. It's Patrick Swayze. It's just so bad. So,
you know,
I just wanted to mention them because we hadn't talked about them yet. I didn't know if you had any clips of them or not.
I really don't know. I only pulled 14 clips from this movie, and we haven't even really touched a ton of them. A couple of them for the games, but I do have more of Larvell Jones' mouth noises. I just thought that was fun to do. So
why not? People want to hear it.
Yeah.
Do you think he was trying to play like Duck Hunt?
I was like Space Invaders or something, probably. Yeah. Love it. Walking in on someone doing that to nothing, like just in the middle of a room.
Well, that would happen now because people are so fucking bored.
It's true.
Do you think he knew that the guy was walking down the hall?
I don't know. Like if he was there as like a distraction for just to keep his attention. I don't know.
When I was like,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no. When I was watching it, I was like, oh no, because if he's not calling that guy, and I was calling Leslie the a-hole, because he was just doing it, staring at him.
Yeah.
Oh crap. I forgot what I was gonna say. We were talking about the guy making the. Oh, do you have when he makes it sound like he's got prison chains when the dude's walking?
I don't.
That was awesome. I mean, that would be a weird clip to pull.
Yeah, for sure.
But like that scene was so great. I loved it.
I've got we haven't really heard anything from Thompson. So here's Mahoney tricking Thompson when he first meets her in the line up there.
What's your name, cadet?
Thompson, sir.
You live around here?
The 80s like zippy zappy music now.
Come on, eyes.
It's like Love Boat.
Telephone number.
555-2467, sir.
Okay. Let's see the thighs. Come on. I haven't got all day the thighs.
The Goots is a notorious thigh man, you know.
What the
hell are you
doing? Meeting women, sir.
Meeting women.
What's your
Love
name, dirtbag? Dirtbag? Your name. Mahoney, sir. Back in line, Mahoney.
Carrie Mahoney is his name. So weird.
I don't really belong here. I'm not right for this place.
Yeah, Carrie's not very common for a dude.
Right. I don't. Yeah. You just have thought you'd have made it more of like an everyman name in a movie. Like you could choose whatever you wanted, and he went with.
I mean, honestly, though, if we didn't say that and we weren't researching it for this purpose, I don't even know if you would realize that was his first name.
I had no idea.
Ever say it.
Yeah.
They say it twice in the movie, but I didn't know. I think I thought they said Gary. If I didn't have closed captions on, I would have thought it. Yeah.
Even his name tag when he works at the car place says Mahoney on it instead of his first name.
Yeah. Which it should. I mean, if your last name is Mahoney, that's just how you should be referred to.
Pretty much. Oh yeah, and they call him Homo Honey or at some point too. Like so, there was another gay
marks against it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. You can't have it all.
Do you guys want to do box office?
Let's do, and of course that's also got a theme song, and here it is. Box office theme song. There it is. That's it.
Thank you,
sweet.
Stu.
Mr. Stu McAllister provided that one.
All right. So this was 1984. How much do you think it cost to make this movie? What was the budget?
$800,000.
Okay.
All right. I am going to go a little deeper. It's going to be in the millions for me. Let's say this movie was made. It was a huge cast and undertaking, I'm guessing. Let's say this was like 13, 14 million, something like that.
4.5 million.
Okay, so it was pretty low. All right.
Yeah, that's one of the lowest movies I think we've done.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
and the cast is huge. That's why it made research for this movie super hard. And like
who do you focus on? And
yeah, when we did Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, I was like, yeah, I fucking nailed that. Yeah, because there's like 6 people in that movie, and it was like I knew like what they're doing now. And honestly, with this one, I'm just like, I don't even know.
And all of their parts are just so small, you know. I'm stupid. Okay. And okay, move on. How much did it make, right?
Well, in this movie, unfortunately, I don't have how much it made with video sales.
Okay.
I only have how much it made with
box office.
Just box office, like just in the movie theater. How much did this movie made?
I am guessing 8 million.
Okay. I heard someone talking and I stopped the video immediately when they were like, and this movie made, and I was like, ugh, but they got out 100 first. So it made more than 100 million, I'm guessing. But yeah, I don't know.
It did, but what I have is 82 million in the theater.
Okay.
But
so it must be over.
Yeah, but then in the first week that the videos went on sale, they sold 100,000 videos. So, and I looked, I was unable to find like the
total.
Mm-hmm.
But so box office was 80 million, you said, something like that?
Yeah, 81.2 million.
Oh my God. That is
humongous
success.
Yes.
No wonder they made 6 of these dirge-ass garbage movies.
And it only cost them $4.5 million to make it.
Which is, for as many people that were involved in this, I find that to be unbelievable also. But.
I agree. Yeah. Well, okay, so I do have to say, like,
was Guttenberg a star, though, at that point? Was he, like, pulling in decent money, or was this just kind of his breakout role?
This might have been his breakout role.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Probably was, yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like he was younger than this in Short Circuit, but maybe not. I don't know.
Okay, what were you saying?
Oh no, well, okay. The beginning of the riot scenes and stuff were dumb to me. Like it just went on for too long. I felt like there was just they had a lot of like little comedy like quips here and there, but I was just like, oh, it reminded me of Stripes when they take that stupid take thing out.
The second half of the movie.
Exactly. Because you're like,
with this movie, I was like, okay, we're moving along, we're getting somewhere, and then I'm starting to look at the timeline of this film and how much is left, and I'm like, there's only 20 minutes of this movie left. What the hell's gonna happen? Like, something has to happen. And I feel like they rushed through the ending, you know, just to kind of wrap the bow around everything and be like, we're all done now. But I agree. They did not disperse the riot, right? I mean, the riot was still happening while that guy was shooting at all the cops. So I mean, all they did was save the 2 cops up on the roof, and then I assume the mob just burned down the town.
Stole everything.
Yeah.
Sam, was there any part of the movie that you felt like didn't hold up, that you were kind of like, I could have done without this?
I mean, the mob scene for sure. I wish they had either gone into more detail, because like that guy didn't even seem like the ringleader of the mob. He just seemed like a one-off. And it's not like, I don't know, it was treated like, oh, if you kill the queen bee, you kill them all.
Yeah. Everyone's just like, well, I guess I better put this TV down and go home now.
Right. Yeah, that wasn't the head vampire, apparently.
Or the dancing around a fire topless. I guess that seemed like, I was so like, weird. I
mean, don't get me wrong, titties, you know.
Otherwise, your synopsis would have made no sense without that. That's very some very angry teen boys watching Netflix wondering where them titties at. But that also was a very much a Lost Boys scene. Just the saxophone around a fire on the beach for no reason.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it was great.
And I don't know really what was going on with Tackleberry. Like,
yeah, he's got some serious issues.
Yeah, he was like playing an instrument, but like staring. But then it was just, that was odd. I changed mine. That was the dumbest part.
Yeah,
Like
good
the
call.
gawking, like the guy who's gun crazy, like maybe that's why they're still willing to take it off. Like, please don't shoot me. Like,
He's like staring through your soul, and you're like, I gotta do something. Look at these instead of my eyes. Don't
It's
look
funny
me in the eyes.
because there were like thousands of those up in Lansing this week. So,
A lot of tackleberries. A lot of tackleberries up there.
That's gonna be my new, like, any Trump fan. I'm gonna now be like, he's a tackleberry.
Yeah, instead of saying okay boomer, it's now just okay tackleberry for everyone.
I think that might actually be an insult to Tackleberry.
Yeah,
but
for
that's
sure.
just me.
yeah. When I saw him getting his gun in my mind, I'm like, he would be one of those like Second Amendment meme persons.
Well, and how sad he was at the end that he couldn't have been with them for all the gunplay.
I love it.
Great.
All right.
Do you want to do ages?
Yeah, let's do that. And then, of course, has a theme song as well. This theme song is way too long, but we made it this far. These are the ones that I want people to replace. I would like somebody to make a song that will replace this one eventually. How old are you? There's a theme, you know.
We're only a little worried about getting in trouble for these.
It's subtle. I figure if we talk over it, you know, there won't be much they can do about it.
That's why we have to talk over the good ones so we can keep that stupid.
Right.
How old? Nobody cares. Like,
no. This one's probably the bummer. This one's gonna get me in trouble.
maybe.
All right, it is time to play How Old Are You? Where we take cast members from this film. Mandy has done all the research. I don't know how old these people are either. And we're going to ask you how old these people are at the time of filming. Mandy.
All right, so we'll start out with the Goots. How old was Steve Guttenberg? 1984. How old do you think he was?
I'm guessing 26.
I'm going to say he was 23.
26 it is. Ding,
hey,
ding.
Look at that. Way to go, Sam. We need like a buzzer for...
Right. I know. How old do you think G.W. Bailey was? He played Lieutenant Harris.
I wonder what I have a clip of Harris I'm going to play. We haven't played it yet. Oh, just hold on. I wonder what this is. I don't even know what he was going to say here.
My name
there it is.
Lieutenant Harris. Hey, you missed it.
Come on, get on with it.
I know, I'm like,
Sergeant Callahan. In case you missed it.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, so that's who we're talking about. Lieutenant.
I think that I'm gonna put him at 45.
Okay.
All right, Matt.
I'm gonna say he's not as old as we think he is. I'm gonna say he's like 39.
40. Yeah,
okay.
He was 40.
All
Although when you were little, he just seemed so old.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's hard to believe. Like he's 4 years older than I am right this second. Like that is unbelievable to me.
For sure.
I feel like they aged harder in the 80s, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of cocaine.
Well, I'm aging really bad during the quarantine.
Yeah.
Is that tea or is that?
Is that tea? Do you know who you're talking to?
No.
Yeah. She brews her tea in a pitcher and brings it down to the basement. She's got a tea-aerator next door.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a kegerator right here.
She's all set, man. She's hunkered in. She's in the bunker room.
That's my quarantine tip is,
there you go. Stock
like,
up.
Happy hour starts at 4 and it pretty much doesn't end until
ends at 4 also.
way too late in the evening because my kid gets up super early, so that sucks. Okay, so how old do you think Kim Cattrall was? Thompson.
Yeah.
24.
Okay.
I'm gonna say she was. I probably would have said somewhere around there, but just for the sake of this, I'll say she was like 21.
She was 28.
Okay.
Yep. So she's
aging well. Look at that.
I know, right? I think we were surprised at how old she was in Porky's too.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So, how old do you think that Bubba Smith, who plays Moses Hightower, was when he?
In 1984.
41.
Let's say if you did some quick math, you could probably figure it out. Didn't we say how old he was when he died, or when he died? I don't know.
We didn't say how old he was.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say he was 45. Is that what you said?
I said 41.
Oh, okay, 45.
39. He was only
Really?
39. Mm-hmm.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah, and then I didn't.
He was 1 year younger than Harris.
Yes.
That's crazy town.
I know, isn't it?
Weird.
How old do you think Michael Winslow was? Well, you know, we always say it is hard to judge Black people's ages because they look amazing until they're like 110. So, but Michael Winslow, the noise guy, the Lardell Jones.
The noise guy.
I'm guessing.
That's on it. It's gonna be on his tombstone.
25.
Okay.
21.
26.
Oh, all right. There you go. That's another win for you.
And
You're way better at this than I am. I've been pretty far off on most of these.
Okay, we haven't really talked about her, but I thought she did a fantastic job. Leslie Easterbrook, who plays Sergeant Callahan, like the gun-toting, like kick-ass one that like takes George Martin and like just screws the shit out of him until it made him fall in love. So
because we've got no other reason to play a clip from George Martin, here it is just for the heck of it. So I can get it out of the way.
Just remember, I love you. Bye.
Introduce yourself around, man.
Take good care of my son.
Relax. Bye, babies.
Excuse me. You know all those women?
Sure. They're my girlfriends.
All of them?
Yeah.
Carrie Mahoney.
I'm George Martin.
Okay. Wish me pals, George. You're an interesting guy.
You cadet?
I am until I can get myself right out of here. You got by 10.
All right.
Yeah, see, like having a boombox on your shoulder was cool, yet when you take a call on speakerphone, you're uncool.
What?
And that was like the biggest boombox too. It was not like a normal size boombox.
For sure.
It was like extra large.
Just tape two together.
So I could do the math, but I didn't. I actually was gonna
never
have
hit
you guess.
Callahan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Guess.
Wait.
We didn't guess her, did we? No, we didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
How old do you think she was?
I am guessing 30.
Okay.
I'm gonna say closer to 40.
Yeah, she was 35, which is 1 year younger than I am.
Wow.
I am so out of shape compared to her. Well, what I was going to ask is, how old do you think George Gaines, who played Lessard, was when he died?
When he died?
Yeah.
I don't know. It must be notable then if you're asking that. So
I thought it was pretty notable.
I'm gonna say 90.
He died in 2016. If that gives you what I mean.
I think 88.
98. He was like super close to me in 99. Yeah.
Wow.
So when we were like, oh, we were like, oh, that's sad. I'm like, yeah, I could be like 104 right now.
Yeah.
You know.
Sure.
Yeah.
I guess that's true.
That's it. That's
Look
all
at
I
that.
have.
All right.
There were a lot of other people, but we don't care about that.
For sure. All right, we want to jump straight into the next game. This is going to be the second half of these are going to be game heavy because we only have like a half hour to wrap these up. So
right.
All right, Sam, are you ready to jump into the next game?
Yeah.
Of course, that one also has a theme song, and it goes like this.
Yeah, we got to be careful with this one too.
I know. Yeah. Not as much because it's only like 5 seconds of each.
Yeah.
What's that sound?
All right, it's time for us to play What's That Sound? That's where I take a sound that happened in this movie and I play it for you. That's where the headphones come in handy. Mandy has also never heard the sounds that I'm about to play. So, Sam, you're going to get first swing at it. And if you can't get it, it's going to go to Mandy. And then if neither of you get it, it's going to go to the listening or viewing audience. And you can send in your response if they don't get these to this email right here at anotherepisodepodcast@gmail.com. And all right, so here is the first clip that we have. Okay.
Hey.
Okay, I'll play it again. I know it's a little tough over the headphones here, but we'll crank it up and see what happens.
Hey.
Okay. Let me know if you need it again or if you want to take a swing at it.
Is it
Mandy, do you think you know?
No, it
Okay.
was a little hard to hear just
All right.
because of like, but no,
Because of the internet, yeah.
I'm sure somebody out there will know it
For sure.
if Sam can't get it.
All right,
but-
Sam, go.
Is it Hightower patrolling the hallways?
No. We're gonna play one more time for you, Mandy. So give this a listen here, real quick. Hey. Oh, you
Yeah,
got
go
it?
ahead.
Go ahead.
Tackleberry banging his head on the truck.
On the hood. Yeah.
Oh
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes, good job. When he finds out that he wasn't involved in the gunplay.
Yeah, he missed out on the gunplay. I was like, that's why I skimmed over that part so fast. I was like, I don't want to discuss this at all because then someone's going to talk about it.
Oh my gosh, I never would have gotten that in a million years. So good job.
All right, this is all right. Here's the next sound. This is sound number 2. There are 3, by the way. This is sound number 2. A lot of stuff going on there.
Oh, do you want to go first, Mandy?
Oh no, this is you.
It's when he flips the car over.
It is, yeah. It's when Hightower flips the car over on Dirtbag or whatever his name was.
Yeah, I seriously don't think I wouldn't have gotten that one either. So well done.
It's just a lot of noise. All right, there's 2 for 2. All right, here comes number 3.
Can we play it one more time?
We sure can. Yep. Here we go.
Did it come across clear for you?
Only the first half of the second
it was
time.
pretty.
Okay.
It was pretty garbled for me too.
Well, it's an awful noise, so I'll play it one more time.
Okay. Nope, it's not coming through.
I fear that it may be coming through. It's just an awful noise. Or are you just getting?
No, it's garbled, and I know what it is. If you want me to just say it,
is it the clippers?
It
when
is.
They cut
Yep.
the hair?
It's
not real clippers. It's Jarvel. Isn't it him pretending?
No, that's why I use this one. It's the actual clippers at the beginning when they get their hair cut.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because and I don't know. We'll have to see. Obviously, this is all. We're still working out the bugs, but.
Sure.
I could tell by the look on Sam's face that she was the same as me. All we could hear was like, whoa.
But yeah, no, you got it though.
Well, the first time through, it sounded great, but then after that, so hopefully it comes.
We're working bugs out.
Hopefully it comes through to the audience. And sorry, you guys, I know that this is kind of rough, but we're figuring stuff out.
For sure, yeah. And for whatever reason, I feel like the audio for the YouTube channel is better than the audio for the podcast, and I don't know why. I can't get them to match up. But either way, whatever. This is all new to us. We're figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
All right, so we're getting toward the end of this thing. Are there any parts of the film that you enjoyed that we have not discussed yet that you think people should, hear about, remember, whatever? And it goes for you too, Mandy. Anything that we didn't touch on already?
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. What if we became that podcast? We're like, in this film, you saw 7 different breasts, and they were all like just different times.
Our new game is, were they real?
I liked when Hooks was able to go over the wall.
Okay, yeah. Look at that.
And
again, it's the heart of this film,
Yeah, and like I can't think of her name. Lieutenant Callahan was like smiling and like tried to like hide it from. We said his name so many times. I can't.
Oh, Lieutenant Harris.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like it.
Awesome.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say one thing we didn't talk about was when Harris gets thrown into the horse.
That's what I was just gonna say. Like that was when he comes back and Larvell does the horse whinny after he walks past. That's the greatest.
When everyone is trying super hard not to laugh. When people are trying hard not to laugh, it makes me laugh so much harder.
Where was this movie gonna go without him in this movie? I just don't see the direct. Like all of the funniest parts of this movie had him, or at least kind of half-ass in it. You know what I mean? It's just weird why they would do this without him.
I honestly think that they should have used him more.
And I heard that this movie was supposed to be a lot more raunchy than it was. Mm-hmm. Like it was supposed to be a huge like.
Well, this is the only one that's rated R. The rest of them after this are not rated R.
Huh. All right. Look at
So
that.
there's a lot of disappointed kids that were watching the next ones thinking they were going to see some stuff.
For sure. All right. I mean, I guess we're kind of to the end of this nonsense, right? I mean, we always ask everybody who's on if you would watch
I'm to the end of my beer, so
right.
We gotta go.
Would you watch this movie again, Sam?
Oh yeah, 100%. And I heard that Key and Peele are working on a remake of it.
What?
Oh, that would be so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Fun. I mean,
So
the premise is definitely there. It makes sense to redo this thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I would watch this again, and then I would also want to watch that.
There you go. All right. Look at that. It's a, we'll take that as a plus for the film from Sam. All right, Mandy, would you watch this movie again?
Yeah, I would.
2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
Purely audio or purely visual. Nobody cares about the podcast.
I actually only watched this on my phone, and I watched it like 1.5 times.
Okay.
Just because I have a 5-year-old, and it was just difficult to be able to watch anything other than like Disney Junior.
Yeah.
So I want to watch it like with my husband on like an
full
actual
screen
television.
for sure.
Yes. I don't know if he's seen it. I'm guessing he probably has, but yeah. So I for sure want to watch this again. And I remember really liking 2, even though and it had Bobcat
Goldthwait. Yep.
Yes, and I remember, and I thought that would be kind of fun to watch that again because I remember him. So
yeah, he's great, man. He's moved on to like directing and writing and all kinds of nonsense. He's doing good. Speaking of directing and writing and doing things, none of us are doing any things, but some of us still have stuff to plug. Sam, do you have anything? You got an album, right? You can point people toward at least.
It's called Trigger Warning. It's on most streaming services. I'm not like an edgelord kind of person. Like, oh yeah, snowflakes, trigger warning. I like legit. There's some tracks on there that like, oh, I hope that people aren't like legitimately triggered by it.
You don't want to get the film festival racist treatment off of these.
Honestly, after the quarantine, I don't know what's going to trigger us. It could be anything. I mean, one person at work sneezes and like the whole building evacuates. It's gonna be very strange.
A lot of masks, man. Just buy those stocks, whatever. 3M, just get some 3M stock and make it happen.
Well, I know, but everybody's making their own. You can get elastic companies, I guess. I don't.
Yeah, just buy stock in like whatever Joanne Fabrics. Yeah, Michael. All right, Mandy, will you watch this movie again? Did we talk about that already?
Yeah, I said I would.
Oh, you did.
What about you?
I don't know. Probably not. I'm not gonna like seek it out. I actually enjoyed it, and I watched this movie like 3 full times, like preparing for this.
Yeah, and you catch things that you didn't catch the first time because there's so much going on. Yeah, because I watched it a couple of times, though. Again, both times were on my phone. So
for sure, yeah. But otherwise, listen, go like us on Facebook. I mean, all of us. Go find us somewhere on Facebook. If you want to catch Sam, you're going to be on the poster for Police Academy. We always take the posters and change them up to our guests, so your face is going to be somewhere on the poster.
Yes.
And I think this poster's got like the full cast on it, right? So it's going to be like a Where's Waldo of which one of us are which character. So look for that. Those come out on Sunday prior to the episode airing on Instagram. So follow us on Instagram to see those posters first, and then they do make their way to Facebook eventually. Otherwise, you can, again, reach us via email at anotherepisodepodcast@gmail.com. And we always play a clip at the end of these to get out of this mess because we don't know how to stop talking about these movies. So we're going to play this last clip. I couldn't really find anything super fun to play at the end, so we got this one instead. Here we go. Thank you so much, Sam, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. Everybody go check out Trigger Warning.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you both for having me. I had a blast.
And once we get back on stage somewhere, go find Sam on stage.
And your makeup looks fantastic, darling.
Thank you.
Oh, that wasn't for me? All right.
No, yeah, sorry.
Thank you, Colonel Lassard, Chief Hurst, Madam Mayor, Mr. President, His Holiness the Pope, the King of Norway, and our other honored guests.
And that being Sam Rager. Thank you, Sam. Thanks, everybody, for listening. And
Thanks, guys.
Have a good day, I guess.
Stay safe.
Bye. Okay, bye.